Welcome! Today, we're diving into the essential topic of tenant rights. Whether you're renting your first apartment or have been a tenant for years, understanding your rights is crucial. Tenant rights are the legal protections and responsibilities that come with renting a property. These laws exist to ensure fair treatment, safe living conditions, and a balanced relationship between tenants and landlords. In this video, we'll break down what tenant rights are, why they matter, and how they can protect you in various situations. Let's start by exploring the basics and why every renter should be informed. Tenant rights refer to the set of legal protections and obligations that apply to people who rent their homes. These rights are designed to prevent unfair treatment, discrimination, and unsafe living conditions. They cover a wide range of topics, from how much notice a landlord must give before entering your home, to rules about rent increases and eviction procedures. Understanding these rights helps tenants feel secure and empowered in their living arrangements. Let's look at some of the most common rights tenants have and how they can impact your daily life as a renter. One of the most fundamental tenant rights is the right to a habitable home. This means your rental property must meet basic health and safety standards. For example, the landlord must provide working plumbing, heating, electricity, and ensure the property is free from serious hazards like mold or pest infestations. If something breaks or becomes unsafe, it's usually the landlord's responsibility to fix it promptly. This right ensures that tenants are not forced to live in dangerous or unhealthy conditions, and it's protected by law in most places. Tenants have the right to privacy in their homes. This means landlords cannot enter your rental property whenever they want. In most cases, they must give you advance notice, often 24 to 48 hours before entering, unless there's an emergency like a fire or a burst pipe. This right protects tenants from unexpected intrusions and helps maintain a respectful landlord-tenant relationship. Knowing your privacy rights can help you set boundaries and feel more secure in your living space. Another key tenant right is protection against discrimination. Landlords cannot refuse to rent to you, raise your rent, or evict you based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or family status. These protections are enforced by laws like the Fair Housing Act in the United States. If you believe you've been discriminated against, you have the right to file a complaint and seek legal remedies. This right ensures that everyone has equal access to housing opportunities. Tenants are entitled to proper notice before certain actions are taken by the landlord. For example, if the landlord wants to raise the rent, end the lease, or enter the property for repairs, they must provide written notice within a specific time frame. The required notice period varies by location and situation, but it's usually outlined in your lease agreement or local laws. This right gives tenants time to prepare and respond to changes, helping to prevent sudden disruptions. If a landlord wants to evict a tenant, they must follow a legal process known as due process. This means they can't simply change the locks or remove your belongings without going through the courts. The landlord must provide a valid reason for eviction, such as non-payment of rent or violating the lease, and give you proper notice. You also have the right to defend yourself in court. This process protects tenants from unfair or sudden evictions. A written lease is an important document that outlines the terms of your rental agreement. Tenants have the right to receive a written lease that clearly states the rent amount, duration, rules, and responsibilities for both parties. Having a written lease helps prevent misunderstandings and provides a reference if disputes arise. It's always a good idea to read your lease carefully and keep a copy for your records. Tenants have the right to request repairs and expect timely maintenance from their landlord. If something in your rental breaks or becomes unsafe, you should notify your landlord in writing. The landlord is usually required to fix the problem within a reasonable time. This right ensures that tenants are not left living with broken appliances, leaky roofs, or other issues that affect their quality of life. In certain situations, tenants may have the right to withhold rent if the landlord fails to make necessary repairs or maintain the property. However, this right is subject to strict legal requirements and should only be used as a last resort. Tenants must usually provide written notice and give the landlord a chance to fix the problem first. If you're considering withholding rent, it's important to understand your local laws and seek legal advice. Most tenants are required to pay a security deposit when they move in. This deposit is meant to cover damages beyond normal wear and tear or unpaid rent. Tenants have the right to get their security deposit back at the end of the lease, minus any legitimate deductions. Landlords must provide an itemized list of deductions and return the remaining deposit within a certain time frame as required by law. Tenants with disabilities have the right to request reasonable accommodations from their landlords. This could include things like installing grab bars in the bathroom or allowing a service animal, even if the building has a no pets policy. Landlords are required by law to make reasonable efforts to accommodate tenants' needs as long as it doesn't cause undue hardship. This right helps ensure equal access to housing for everyone. Tenants have the right to quiet enjoyment of their home. This means you should be able to live in your rental without excessive noise, harassment, or interference from the landlord or other tenants. If your landlord or neighbors are disrupting your peace, you may have legal grounds to take action. Quiet enjoyment is a basic right that helps ensure your home remains a comfortable and private place. Landlords can raise the rent, but they must follow certain rules. Tenants have the right to receive advance notice of any rent increase, and in some places, there are limits on how much the rent can be raised at one time. These laws help protect tenants from sudden or unreasonable rent hikes, making it easier to plan and budget for housing costs. Before signing a lease, tenants have the right to review all terms and ask questions. This includes understanding the rent amount, due dates, maintenance responsibilities, and any rules about guests or pets. Taking the time to review your lease can help prevent surprises and ensure you're comfortable with the agreement. Don't hesitate to ask for clarification if anything is unclear. Tenants have the right to receive receipts for rent payments and any other fees paid to the landlord. Receipts provide proof of payment and can be important if disputes arise. Always ask for a written or electronic receipt and keep them for your records. This simple step can help protect your interests as a tenant. In many cases, tenants have the right to sublet their rental or assign the lease to someone else, with the landlord's approval. This can be helpful if you need to move before your lease ends. The process and requirements for subletting or assigning a lease are usually outlined in your lease agreement. Always get the landlord's permission in writing before making any changes. Landlords are not allowed to retaliate against tenants for exercising their legal rights. For example, if you report a health or safety violation, your landlord cannot evict you or raise your rent in response. This protection encourages tenants to speak up about problems without fear of losing their home. If you suspect retaliation, you may have legal grounds to challenge the landlord's actions. Tenants have the right to access essential utilities like water, heat, and electricity. Landlords cannot shut off these services to force a tenant to move out or as a form of punishment. If your utilities are included in the rent, the landlord must ensure they remain connected and functional. This right is crucial for maintaining safe and livable housing. When applying for a rental, tenants have the right to a fair and non-discriminatory application process. Landlords must treat all applicants equally and cannot reject someone based on protected characteristics. Application fees and requirements should be reasonable and clearly stated. This right helps ensure everyone has a fair chance at securing housing. Tenants have the right to know the name and contact information of the property owner or manager. This information should be provided in the lease or upon request. Knowing who is responsible for the property helps tenants address concerns, request repairs, and communicate effectively. It also provides accountability if issues arise. Tenants have the right to live in a safe and secure environment. Landlords must take reasonable steps to maintain security, such as providing locks on doors and windows. If you feel unsafe due to broken locks or inadequate lighting, notify your landlord immediately. This right helps protect tenants from crime and ensures peace of mind. If there are changes to the terms of your lease or building policies, tenants have the right to be informed in writing. This includes changes to rent, rules, or contact information for the landlord. Proper communication ensures tenants are aware of their rights and responsibilities and can adapt to any updates. Tenants have the right to organize or join tenant associations to advocate for better living conditions or address common concerns. Landlords cannot interfere with or retaliate against tenants for participating in these groups. Organizing with other tenants can be a powerful way to address issues and improve your rental experience. Tenants have the right to be free from harassment by landlords or property managers. Harassment can include threats, intimidation, or repeated unwelcome visits. If you experience harassment, document the incidents and seek legal help. This right protects tenants' well-being and ensures a respectful living environment. Tenants have the right to be informed about all fees and charges before signing a lease. This includes application fees, late fees, and any other costs. All fees should be clearly stated in the lease agreement. Transparency about fees helps tenants budget and avoid unexpected expenses. Tenants have the right to a move-in and move-out inspection with the landlord. These inspections document the condition of the property and help determine if any deductions from the security deposit are justified. Both parties should sign an inspection report to avoid disputes later on. Some lease terms may be illegal or unenforceable, even if you sign the agreement. For example, a lease cannot waive your right to a habitable home or allow the landlord to evict you without due process. If you find illegal terms in your lease, you have the right to challenge them and seek legal advice. After signing a lease, tenants have the right to receive a copy for their records. This document is important for understanding your rights and responsibilities. If your landlord does not provide a copy, request one immediately. Keeping a copy helps resolve disputes and protects your interests. Tenants have the right to know how and where to pay rent. The landlord should provide clear instructions about acceptable payment methods, such as checks, online payments, or direct deposit. This information should be included in the lease or provided in writing. Clear payment instructions help avoid confusion and late fees. Landlords must respect your right to privacy and cannot enter your home without proper notice, except in emergencies. Unlawful entry is a violation of your rights and may be grounds for legal action. Always document any unauthorized entries and communicate your concerns to the landlord. If your landlord plans to raise the rent, you have the right to receive advance written notice. The notice period and rules for rent increases are usually set by local laws. This right helps tenants plan for changes in housing costs and prevent sudden surprises. Tenants cannot be evicted without a valid reason and due process. Landlords must follow legal procedures, provide notice, and obtain a court order before eviction. Self-help evictions, like changing locks or removing belongings, are illegal. This right protects tenants from being unfairly forced out of their homes. Landlords can charge late fees for overdue rent, but these fees must be reasonable and clearly stated in the lease. Excessive or hidden late fees are not allowed. If you're charged an unreasonable fee, you may have the right to challenge it. Always check your lease for details about late fees. Some lease clauses may be unfair or unenforceable, such as those that waive your basic rights or impose unreasonable penalties. Tenants have the right to challenge these clauses and seek legal advice if needed. Always review your lease carefully and don't hesitate to question anything that seems unfair. Before moving in, tenants have the right to know about any existing problems or hazards in the rental property. Landlords must disclose issues like lead, paint, mold, or pest infestations. This information helps tenants make informed decisions and protects their health and safety. Landlords cannot charge unlawful or excessive fees beyond what is allowed by law. This includes application fees, cleaning fees, or other charges not specified in the lease. If you're asked to pay an unexpected fee, check your lease and local laws before paying. If repairs are needed, tenants have the right to be informed about when and how repairs will be made. Landlords should provide notice before entering the property to make repairs and keep tenants updated on the progress. Clear communication helps avoid misunderstandings and ensures repairs are completed efficiently. Landlords can set reasonable rules for the property, but they cannot impose rules that are overly restrictive or violate your rights. For example, rules that prevent you from having guests or restrict your daily activities may be unenforceable. Tenants have the right to challenge unreasonable rules and seek legal advice if needed. Landlords must follow legal procedures when collecting rent. They cannot use threats, harassment, or illegal methods to collect payments. If you experience unlawful rent collection practices, document the incidents and seek help from a tenant advocacy group or legal professional. Landlords cannot terminate your lease without a valid reason and proper notice. Lease termination must follow the rules set by your lease and local laws. If you receive a termination notice, review your lease and seek legal advice if you believe it's unjustified. While tenants may have the right to withhold rent in certain situations, landlords cannot retaliate or take illegal action if you exercise this right. If you withhold rent due to unaddressed repairs, make sure you follow the legal process and keep records of all communications. Landlords can only deduct from your security deposit for legitimate reasons, such as unpaid rent or damages beyond normal wear and tear. Unlawful deductions are not allowed. If you believe your deposit was unfairly withheld, you have the right to dispute the charges and seek legal help. Tenants have the right to know about local resources, such as tenant advocacy groups, legal aid, and government agencies that can help with housing issues. Landlords or property managers should provide information about these resources upon request. Knowing where to turn for help can make a big difference if problems arise. In summary, tenant rights are a vital part of renting a home. They protect you from unfair treatment, ensure safe and healthy living conditions, and provide a framework for resolving disputes. By understanding your rights, you can confidently navigate the rental process and advocate for yourself when needed. Remember, tenant rights may vary depending on your location, so always check your local laws and seek professional advice if you have questions. Thanks for watching, and stay informed about your rights as a tenant.